All right, hey guys, welcome to our video and thanks so much for putting it on. I'm Gabby Zakara, this is Alesha Wilcox, and we wanted to basically put together some videos that are going to be explaining the astrology of each season. So Aries season, Taurus season, Gemini season. We want to basically explain to you guys the astrology and the energies that are at work each month, so that you can just have a good idea on how to plan your lives, on utilizing the energies to basically just kind of really help everyone, and especially in these times, because it's getting pretty crazy, or at least it's looking crazy. The energies are feeling crazy, but we're all heading in a good direction. So Leash, it's dead nice to connect again, because we've not done a video for ages, have we?
No, it's been nearly a year actually, so it's good to catch up again.
Yeah, and I know, Alesha, if anyone doesn't know of Alesha's work, she's literally just an amazing astrology. You've got loads of videos on your own YouTube channel, which this video will be on there, and it'll be on mine as well. And yeah, if even with tarot decks, you're starting your own tarot deck, aren't you?
I'm doing my own oracle deck. On my YouTube channel, I do have the meanings of the tarot cards, but yes, I am creating my own oracle deck at the moment, very slowly,
Yeah.
but it is getting there.
Yeah, so you're doing that, you're a student, you're an astrologer, you do private readings for people, and you're a bit of a legend as well. So literally, and yeah, so it's really nice to be doing these talks with you, and yeah, to just be able to share your knowledge and a bit of mine, and to be able to help people and stuff. So I wanted to start actually. Today is Sunday the 21st of March, which is actually the true new year, isn't it, in astrology, and a lot of spiritual people say that as well. So could you explain for the people who are watching, why is it today that's the real new year and not the 1st of Jan?
Okay, so this is the spring equinox, or the equinox wherever you are in the world. So if we have a think about astrology, the very first sign of the zodiac is Aries, it's the baby of the star sign. And we think of Pisces, which is the 12th house, which is the 12th sign. It's the last sign, and it's just the 12 months of the year as well. So Pisces is like the cosmic womb. It's where we go when we leave this life. All the souls go there, and then we get rebirthed back onto this world. So Aries is like the newborn baby, and we can even see this within the planetary movements as well. So the sun goes on the ecliptic, and then we have the celestial ecliptics as well, and they all meet up and join at this point, and then they also have other points as well throughout the year, but this is the beginning of the year. What we use for the calendar new year is man-made. It's not really cosmically designed, but we can definitely all feel at this time we're really just closing off many cycles at the moment. So many people are just letting go of so much and really just looking forward to starting fresh and starting anew. And I think we're all really feeling that at the moment. Even people that haven't really been very energetically connected can really feel that shift at the moment to start fresh.
It's interesting that you were saying about Aries being the baby, and then Pisces is the end of a cycle, because if anyone isn't too familiar with the astrology, the zodiac wheel and stuff, the wheel actually, if you kind of wrap a human body around it, it kind of every zodiac kind of follows from the head down. So Aries is the head, and it goes down to Pisces being the feet. And they say that Aries is a strong kind of not really a mental energy, but because it's associated with the head, and all ideas in the universe start with a thought first, then Aries, the beginning, it's always it represents that first thought of this is where you plant your seeds for things to grow throughout this cycle, then throughout the zodiac. And so Aries is the first into it. It's almost represents that. And I think as well that they say that Jesus or Christ was the Lamb of God, and the lamb being the ram or Aries. and that was again like the first born son or the first thought of God. It all just relates to that, doesn't it? You like when you look into religion and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And we're also born like head first as well, you know.
That's so true.
It's amazing. And you know, what we create starts in our mind. It always starts in our head. So, you know, like Aries is that yang, outward, masculine fire projection. It's you know, projection from the center. So it really is, yeah, just pushing forward, starting new, you know. It's that initial spark, you know. So that's definitely what Aries is.
And what I think is interesting is because we think that, like, you know, like I saw you did a post talking about how Valentine's Day should so be in Leo season rather than in Aquarius season, yeah. And it's so true. And there's a lot of these different holidays that I think have been purposely moved, like we're saying about the new year, to ruin the energy, because we should be going along with the natural way that energy works. So Valentine's Day should be in the day, like a day where it's like all about Leo, about the heart, about being extravagant and like kind of like the
romantic. Yeah,
exactly. And so
well, we used to, like in pagan times, like that's what we used to follow. It's only like these, you know, I think capitalism and all that type of stuff controlled religion, that, you know, like controlled all these events and structured their own events on top of things. And they do use some of the holidays, like I think they use Christmas for Saturnia, because the pagans celebrated Saturnia, you know, like, and so they tried to take some of those things, but they try and navigate everything to their own, you know, agenda.
And
it's like Valentine's Day in Aquarius season, like it's the most detached time. Like it's a time for thinking, you know, like introspection, looking at everything from a detached point of view. It's not like romance and beautiful gestures and you know, like
and it, so it goes against the nature of how like the universe is actually flowing. And so if you look at like them changing our new year to back in January when the energy is dormant, it's like for us it's winter, but like it's almost the end of that cycle where you're meant to be reflecting, not where you're starting your New Year's resolutions. You might be starting to think about what to have, but it's not a good time to plant those seeds. And so today being the first Sunday of Aries season and the first Sunday of the basically the new year, when the sun is at most east when it rises, which is Easter, then today should actually be the day we set our intentions for the year. And this should be the day where we do our New Year's resolutions. And I just wanted to share that for anyone who's like all of Aries season really, but today in particular is a really good day to set intentions for the year, because it's got that fiery energy to kind of get things going, doesn't it?
And then that's why we see like the things that aren't working, that aren't coming forward with us on our future journey, that's what dies and dissipates and dissolves in the Pisces season. So they're all needed to, you know, have that burst of light, that initial spark, which we're kind of going through now with the equinox. And it's really great that people are really, you know, having like talking about this information. Like I think I mentioned in our last video, no one used to talk about like Mercury retrograde and the equinox and stuff like that like ages ago, like, and it's really great that everyone's starting to understand all these things now. So yes, so it's definitely a time about moving forward now. And just one thing on that, like 2021 is going to be a year where we start something new and we have to be okay with it being half done. Like it's like we all, like, just say you buy something and it's come like half broken, or you start something and you can't finish the other part of it until a little bit later. Like it's going to be, especially with that Saturn Jupiter conjunction that we had in Aquarius, this is really a time of where like we started something, but then we can't have it all at once. We have to wait and sit with it. I don't know if that makes much sense. It's like, you know, it's like you're renovating a house and you've smashed all the kitchen, and, you know, like you fix the kitchen, but the rest of it is still a disaster area. It's like we have to be able to sit with the broken rubble and sit with our new ideas and what we've newly created, and be okay with that, like, and not have everything perfect all at once. This is what this year is going to be big themes about, if people haven't experienced that already. So just be mindful of that, as if you're starting new things right now and it doesn't fall into place straight away, just don't get upset about it. Like, that is just how this 2021 is going to roll out. So
that's really good. And what it reminded me of actually is something big I learned in 2020 is to basically just kind of let go of how I think or want something to go and to turn out, and to just be okay with things just not being perfect, but knowing that they are perfect. It's like the two, one side is how it's meant to be going, the other side is like everything's going to crap, but you've got to just accept the way that things are. And so it's almost, that's what it reminds me of again, is like a big lesson to just be like, one area might be good, the other's not, but it's like just letting go of the control of needing everything to be one way or the other, and just allowing for it to be however it is almost.
Because everything's breaking down and crumbling, right? Especially after what was left after 2020, and it's still crumbling, but then we've got all this new coming through, so we're going to have to be able to balance the old and the new. But I just wanted to let everyone know that this is going to be a really big theme at the moment, especially with getting things initiated, and not to get disheartened at all. Like, this is just the process. Like, we're going through a time where the old is crumbling, things are going to take time, but just to keep focusing on what you're creating. Don't worry about what's collapsing.
Right, that's it. That's a big thing as well, is with all this, the new world's coming and creating the new world or whatever it is, it's so easy to get distracted about this whole 3D like charade that's going on, and to be looking at the world and just get so caught up in the tiny little movements that the key players are playing at the minute, in terms of like, getting rid of the old and trying to build the new. And in reality, you just got to keep trying to go back to looking at yourself, working on yourself, and seeing and just focusing on what you can bring to this new earth. And if it's something you're creating, start creating it. If it's like a workshop you want to do, or like even just self-work or anything like that, to start doing that and focus on what you want to build, as opposed to focus on what needs to come crashing down.
And that's what I think. Like, I'm not sure where everybody's going to be sitting on the political spectrum, but I think after what we witnessed, we really saw that we can't be giving our power away and expecting somebody to save us. That we need to be taking our power back and saving ourselves, and coming together and saving ourselves. Because I really noticed over last year, so many people just put all their faith in one person, and because we live in such a corrupt system, it's just, it really does come down to the people. The people need to stand up, and that's what I think this whole Aries thing is as well, finding your power. And even if we have a look later in the month when we have the super full moon in Libra, it's really about letting go of that toxic relating, sitting on the fence, not doing anything about things, worrying about what everybody else thinks, and not owning our own power. And in that full moon, we're going to have Chiron, we're going to have Mercury, we're going to have the sun, we're going to have Venus, we're going to have the moon, all in Aries, all saying like, own your own power, be, what would you say, self-actualize, be subjective. It's a time to really work on yourself, and let go of all these external attachments, what other people think, what other people want, and what other people think it should be, and stuff like that. So it is going to be a very, very powerful Aries season. And especially with, if we have a look at the chart for this equinox, Mars which is the ruler of Aries, which is the god of war, that is connecting to the North Node, which is the collective soul direction. Right. And where we're going to find power is through our voice, is through communication, is through communities, through finding information, through sorting through what's right and what's wrong, getting away from the South Node, which is the past collective direction of other people's belief systems. You know, letting go of old beliefs, letting go of our own old beliefs and other people's and societies, and finding new information and connecting to groups and people and using our voice and putting our voice out there. But there is one thing we need to be worrying about, or being careful about, not worrying about, is confrontation, because Aries is like the god of war, you know. So, and especially if Mars is in Gemini, which is communication, you know, we can be seeing a lot more fighting going on and playing out on social media and things like that, and especially with Jupiter and Saturn up there in Aquarius, which represents the internet. So yeah, we're going to be seeing probably more fighting. So just keep that in mind, that there's going to be a lot of tension, there's going to be a lot of build up, there's going to be a lot of frustration.
And is that for the whole month then, the kind of just being aware of speaking your truth, but how you speak it, basically?
Yes, but I feel like if you lose attachments with people, that was meant to happen. Like, I think own your own power, own your own voice, and not worry about what anyone thinks, but then have a conscience, you know. Like, you don't need to be, you know, going around insulting people. You can have a voice without saying something shit about somebody else. Sorry, swearing, but yeah, you can have, you know, you don't need to insult anyone by, you know, saying how you feel and what you need and what's right for you, you know.
Could you talk us through kind of the dates, like key dates that things are happening through this Aries season then? And then just explain a little bit about what to expect for us and things.
So I've written it all down. Okay, alrighty. So on the 21st, we have the sun that goes into Aries, and that's the equinox. So that's what we've experienced. So that's when the sun joins up with the celestial and the equator, and that's what we call the equinox. And then on the 22nd, Venus also moves into Aries. And I always see when Venus moves into Aries is like the Indian deity Kali. Like, she just does not cop any crap. Like, she will cut through to the truth. She just owns her own power. Like, everyone says that Venus is in detriment in Aries, and I don't like to think like that. I kind of see it as Venus owning her own power. Like, yes, she doesn't like being a warrior. She probably much prefers to be a queen sitting on a beautiful bed, but Venus really finds her power in Aries. And because Venus is moving into Aries right after the sun, it's also like we're looking for those new relationships as well, new things of beauty, new things of passion, new things of creativity. Like, we really let a lot go in the Pisces season, especially with that new moon in Pisces. That was just crazy. So many people let go of a lot of stuff, like come to a lot of realizations. So yeah, on the 22nd, Venus will be moving into Aries. So all things Venusian, whether it's our creativity, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, whether it's beauty, everything is going to be in like hyperdrive, move forward, looking for what I want. Like, Aries is very conscious. It's very like right now, very like what's right in front of you. So everybody's just, their primal focus is going to be what's in front of them. So that's going to kind of be the Venusian theme. So for any of you that don't know much about Kali, the like the goddess deity, the Indian goddess deity, I do think you should have a look into her, working with her, and she's really great for just cutting through crap, getting to what you need to get through, finding that warrior goddess within, and, you know, believing in yourself. Then we have on the 24th, we have Venus conjuncting or joining the sun. They'll be moving together for to the 27th. Now, this can be like a burnout. So we can have so many things we want to start, so many things we want to do, and the Venusian qualities get burnt out by the sun. So we can find like we just have so many things we want to do and nothing's kind of going anywhere, or we just have that burst of energy and, you know, things are getting done. So it's kind of like a mixed bag on that one, but it's really beautiful when the sun and Venus kind of move together in that way. But it's going to be a very fiery time. There could be a lot of like heated conflicts and things like that. Then on the 26th, Mars, the ruler of Aries, is going to conjunct the North Node, and this is going to be a really great time to move things forward. So we'll have Venus and the Sun together in Aries, and then the ruler of Aries, Mars, is going to be joining the collective soul direction in Gemini. So this is the best time on the 26th, which I think it'll be for you the 25th, the other side of the world, not in Australia. To start what you want to start, like really just set an intention, put it out there, get it out on the internet, do that, like the website, whatever it is, like just get it out. On the 26th. Then we have on the 28th, Venus conjuncts Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer. Now, this is where we're wounded collectively. In our birth chart, we all have Chiron somewhere, and that's our own individual wounding. But this is the collective wounding, which is in Aries. So everybody is wounded in Aries in the way of, I am the am that I am. Everybody wears this mask for society, or doesn't feel good enough, or worries what other people think, or whatever it is. And that's why there's a big theme with Chiron in Aries, is we needing to be healing the self. And then when Venus joins that, and then that's going to be also joining that full moon, it really is bringing up having to let go of what other people think, because it is so wounding to ourselves. Like, we need to let go of these toxic attachments, like I said before as well. So that super moon is going to be on the 28th, 29th, 8 degrees of Libra. And so we're going to have, the Sun, Chiron, Venus, and in Aries. Then we're going to have on the 30th, Mercury is going to conjunct Neptune. Now, a few days ago, Mercury went into Pisces. Now, I think that's why we all kind of feel like, have I made the right decision? Like, I keep changing my mind. Like, I think this 1 minute, and then like an hour later, I want this. Like, it's just like our mind is still in the sea, like our mind is still in the universe. And it's going to be joining Neptune. So this can be a great time for ideas coming through. It can be a great time to connecting to the cosmic womb, connecting to other people, but it's also a time where we have to be careful of deceit, like illusions and delusions, like people contacting us and saying, hey, I want to do this thing. It could be an amazing, great deal, and it sounds too good to be true. Well, it probably is, like we have to be careful when Neptune's involved, because it's a very fine line between something beautiful and something absolutely terrible. So, yes. Then on the 31st of March, Venus and the Sun start to sextile Mars and Mars and the North Node. Now, this can be a time where the masculine and feminine energies can really connect to each other really beautifully. Like, really, especially if there's been some issues coming up, like, especially at the start of the Aries season, maybe there's been some arguments and some fighting or whatever, like we can see like this harmonious aspect, or like an olive branch, like, hey, like, because the masculine, like the divine masculine, is with Gemini and the collective soul direction. So it's really like, it's a kind of healing aspect, I would say. It's really, and it will be a good thing to talk about issues. So if you and a partner are having issues around about the 30th of March to the 6th of April, it's a really good time to talk, to sit down and talk about how you feel, what you need, not pointing the blame, like you've done this and you've done this and blah 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 blah, because that's just projection. That's, like, our eyes are like a mirror. I mean, what is it? They're a projector and a mirror, or that type of thing. So you're going to have to just say to your partner, like, this is what I need. Like, this is, how I feel. This is blah, 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 blah. And we're probably going to see really great understanding at this time. Mm-hmm. So keep in mind, with 31st of March to the 6th of April is a really, and especially then when Mercury be going into Aries on the 4th of April. So it's going to be a really great, and that'll be really good for communication. It could be a bit fiery, but it's a great time to talk about what you need. Like, no more pointing the finger, the blame, whatever. Just, this is what I need. I need to change. I want something new. I feel this way. And then that person will say, blah, 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 this is what I need. And if you can talk about it and connect and find some level ground or some equality or whatever, great. But it's a really great time for expressing how you feel. Then we have Mercury on the 9th of April, we have Mercury joining Chiron. So that's, again, the wounded healer. So we're going to be able to express and understand our wounding. We're going to be able to analyze it and peel off more layers to the wounding that's there, or just have a better understanding, or be better at talking about it, or be better at helping others with their wounding. It's just a very great time for expressing and understanding where we're wounded within the self. Then on the 12th of April, we're going to have the new moon in Aries, and that's going to be at 22 degrees of Aries, and that will be Chiron, Mercury, the moon, sun, Venus, and it really is just highlighting what we released at that super moon in Libra, which is just, let go of what other people think, the other projection. You know, we need to be focusing on ourselves, and it might seem like selfish, it might seem, you know, self-indulgent or subjective, but I think it's very needed. And that we have Aries season, Aries time, it exists as a zodiac for a reason. You know, it's to take 1 month out for yourself to just focus on you is really important. You know, it's going to be another hard year, you know, like we're going to be going through these really difficult years, at least until, you know, 2024, you know, and they're going to be extreme in all different ways. But I think it's really important to start new things and initiate new things and be a different person. And that requires focusing on yourself, you know. So then we'll have the new moon. Then we have Venus moves into the home sign of Taurus, which is going to be really beautiful. All the beautiful Venetian themes of Taurus. Everyone's probably going to put on some weight. So they're going to be eating a bit more than usual. And things are going to be more relaxed. You know, Taurus season is more about plodding along. Slow and steady wins the race. It's that fixed sign. So like we sit, because, you know, like Aries is that cardinal initiation. So we have people that are good at initiating things, and then we have people that are good at making things happen. And then we have people that are good at changing things. So the Taurus season, then we're going to see, you know, plodding along with what we've started. And that Venus will be there. Then on the 19th, Mercury will be joining the sun, which will be combust, which means it can be a fairly frustrating time. It can also feel like Mercury retrograde, like we're just not thinking properly or not understanding things properly, and that we can talk about that later. But yeah, that's a combust. So we've got, Mercury joins the sun at 29 degrees, and then on the 20th, at the start of Taurus season, they both move into Taurus together. So it's going to be a very interesting month. Actually, I'm quite excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of hard work. I think it's going to be really important that we focus on what's ahead, that we let go of what's behind. Like, don't get me wrong. There's people and situations and things that we love and that we want to bring forward with us, but we can't be focusing on them. People need to be focusing on themselves and whatever. Like, we just need to be focusing on what we want and moving in that direction. And if those other things meet us on the same road, great. Yeah. But we can't be looking back like constantly, like, where are they? Should I go back and get them? You know? But yeah, so it's going to be a great time for just focusing on the self. What else have I written here? And allow yourself to be that baby, you know, because if you think about what a baby is, a baby like wants to be seen. It doesn't sit there and think, oh, I don't want to cry because I'll upset everyone. You know, like, I'm hungry, but I'm just not going to say anything. Like, the baby's just like, I'm hungry, you know, I'm not gonna cry. And we need to like be that, you know, be that baby. And, you know, some of us can't do that. Like, some of us have had many lifetimes of, you know, giving our power away or worrying about what everyone else thinks or putting our needs last. And, you know, we can't be doing that anymore. 2021, like, no more of this stuff. Like, it just doesn't work. It's like pouring from an empty cup and stuff like that. It's just done. done. And, you know, and just to really learn to, be that baby. And like some people feel uncomfortable doing that. I get it. Me too. I don't really like being self-absorbed or, all about myself. So, I know, but I know that this month I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'm definitely going to be like, you know what, I want this, you know, and this is what I want to do. And this is what's going to make me happy. And I don't want to do that. And, you know, like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but I just don't want to do something, or I want to do this, you know, like,
What I was wondering as well is, talking about kind of the fiery energy of Aries, it reminds me as well of like the Phoenix fire, where in Pisces you kind of like had the very ends of things, or you've dissolved, let go of stuff. And Aries can almost be that rebirth in the fire. So just think when you're saying it's a real month of like self-reflection, is it also a month of like real transformation as well? Could people in this month particular experience a lot of like transformational type healing and growth in this process?
Yes. I feel like all the things that we've really wanted to start doing, like, I don't know if you felt like it too, like whether it's your diet, whether it's your home, whether it's your car, whether it's your work, whether it's your relationships, everyone's really just had all these things they've wanted to start, but it's kind of like hasn't really gone anywhere. It's like we've started and then it's just kind of fizzled out, or it hasn't worked, or something else has come up. And I feel like at this Aries like equinox, we're really going to be able to start moving forward. You know, like we're really going to actually be able to do those things, you know, implement that new diet, or, you know, whatever it is. Is that kind of what you were wondering?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
With the Phoenix thing?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like everything's been very delayed. Like even like the effects of that, the great conjunction, the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, I feel like there was like this big build up to it, and then it just fizzled out. It was like nothing really changed, and it was like, I don't know, it was very stagnant. But I feel like, and then we've been building all this energy, releasing what we need to release in Pisces, and then now we're ready. Now we're ready to go.
If you could explain, like, because you were saying that like Aries is really that kind of energy, there's Taurus, which is let's like crack on with this now, and it's kind of a consistent type energy and stuff, and people might even put on weight and stuff. But if you could kind of go through, just while we're at the start of this, going through all the different zodiacal seasons, however you'd say it, is go through the timeline or the evolution as you go through the zodiac of like life or of an idea. So example, like Aries is the start of the idea, you right, like let's get going on it. Then Taurus is like, right, we'll plod on, we'll see how this goes, all the way through to Pisces, which is probably like an area where you now self-reflect what you want to start doing next. Could you explain to us the timeline of how that works as you go through?
So Aries is like the first house. It's the baby. It's I am. It's like outward expression. It's masculine. It's cardinal. So it means it's initiating. So it's the very first cardinal sign, and it's the very first fire sign, and it's the very first masculine sign. And it's about initiating, it's about being that baby being born. And then we go into Taurus, and Taurus is the second house. Taurus is our values. It's what we need, what feels good, you know. It's like, it's plodding along. It's like the toddler, kind of like in between like the toddler and the little kid, you know. And then we have like Gemini's the little kid. So Taurus is our food, it's what we eat, it's the land, it's our home, it's like our it's very grounded. And that's the first earth sign, the first fixed sign, and it's the first feminine inward expression. And so the feminine,
And if this was put in relation to an idea as well, then say Aries is where you start it, then Taurus, when you're saying about it's like your physical possessions, could Taurus also be then how you, like, what do you need to get this idea into fruition? Like, say you want to start a business, Taurus is now sussing out the material needs you'll need to do that kind of thing.
So Taurus is I have. So we have Aries, which is I am, and then Taurus, which is I have. So it's about what they have. It's about how to accumulate wealth. how to it's, I don't know, is that making any sense? Like, so you say you have that initial thought, and then you have that work you've got to do, and then you can say, I have this because I've worked for it. I have it, and I have the money for it, you know. So that makes sense.
Definitely, because I wanted, because everything in the universe follows the energies of the zodiac. So how people could utilize this right now in a good way is, if right now we are coming up with these really good ideas, we are doing the self-reflection and the self-work, if we do want to start something new, how do the different energies affect the process along the way? So if we are starting a business, it's really interesting for you to be saying, like, Aries is like, we start the idea. Taurus is either working out how to make the money, or even just getting all the resources you need. And, you know, just it's really good. So keep going. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And then we have like Gemini, which is like the little kid, like, which is the third sign, which is about learning. Do we need extra learning? Like, okay, I've started this business, I've been going along with it. What learning do I need? Also, it's like, as a kid, so you know, you're Aries, you're born, then you're like, then you go through Taurus, what I need, your home, like your creature comforts, and then you're in Gemini, which is learning. So you're a kid, you're at school, what you learn, your brothers and your sisters, and how you get to work and back, commuting, your local community. So that's Gemini, and Gemini is, I think. So it's about collecting information, learning information. So if you're starting a business, it'd be like, what extra information do I need to learn? Like, do I want to be a YouTuber? Do I need to know how to use chroma key? Do I need to get like Adobe Premiere Pro? Do I need to learn how to use that so I can make really good videos, you know? And then we go to Cancer, which is like the home, which is the mother, which is I feel, you know. So it's about nurturing the self, like, and I think that's important when we're starting a business or starting anything creative. It's like, how do I feel? How does it make me feel? When I connect to my emotions, like, you know, like, you're more likely to come up with something of more substance because you're believing in it. You're passionate about it. You have feelings of, you know, desire for something, you know, like, or feelings of happiness, or feelings of, it also represents the mother. So it's very about nurturing that creative idea, if that makes sense.
So much sense.
And it's
so good.
Yeah, and then also as the child perspective, you know, that mother-child relationship. Cancer is also known as like, you know, like Mother Mary. Yes, Jesus, mum, right? Yes, so it's just really beautiful. So then we go into those emotions about what we've created, or we connect to our emotions with our mother, or we connect to our emotions with our home, or we connect to our emotions with ourselves. Then we have Leo, which is the fifth house, and that is about like who we are, who's our self-expression, how do we put ourselves out onto the world, you know, like our passions, our desires, the romance, and what is oh my god, yeah, so it's just like, yeah, our creativity. And I think Leo is I create,
and expansion, so it's like, as well.
Yeah, and so that's when we move into the fifth house. And then we have the sixth house, which is Virgo. And Virgo's like, okay, well, you've had your initial idea, you've been able to accumulate, like, or plot along, you've been able to learn more, you've been able to have your feelings about it, you've been able to put yourself out there. Now let's get rid of what's not working, you know? So Aries is like that pinpoint laser precision of, where is things not working? So Virgo represents like the digestive system. It's like what you need to throw away, what's good and what's bad. You know, it's more like objective instead of like Leo that's like subjective about me. And then, you know, Virgo's like of service. Like, how can I use these skills to be of service to other people? It's not just about what I love creating and I want this attention, what I want, blah, blah, blah. Then Virgo's like, all right, how can we make this a proper service? How can this be something good to help people? How can, you know, stuff like that. Then...
Sorry, I was just going to say, I love that. And also, Virgo can also represent like the harvest, can't it? And like kind of getting the fruits of your labour. because, you know, in nature, you've got all like, you plant your seeds in summertime, it's growing, you've got Leo, the sun, all your fruits are there. And then in Virgo is like the harvest. It's like basically now reaping the rewards of what you've sown, if they're positive. And then, like you say, if there's any bad apples that, you know, they weren't working, get rid of those. And so, yeah, no, keep going. I love this.
Yeah, and like you said, so Virgo is like the wheat maiden. So she's like about fertility as well, which is harvesting what you've what you've worked for. And you'd even see that in like even in tarot as well, with the six, like whether it's the Six of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, you know, Six of Cups, we will see that accumulation from what we've created. And then we have Libra, which is the opposite to Aries, which is, okay, how do we need to think about other people? Okay, so I've refined myself and I've refined my business and what's not working and blah, blah, blah. You know, like, how can I make this suitable for other people? What do other people need? You know, like, what do I need from other people? What can I give other people? You know, like, it's analyzing what other people need. And it's also like justice. It's also commitment. There's many aspects to Libra. So then we go through that next stage of other people needing other people. And then it's like, even as like, if we look at it as the evolution of a human, then it's like you get to that stage where, oh, I want a partner, you know, like, I want to be with someone else. I want someone to share my love with, you know. And then we move to the next, which is Scorpio, which is the 8th house. And that is like death, taxes, sex, divorce, you know, things like that. So then it's like, and it's also like that deep commitment, like a deeper commitment than the 7th house, because sometimes the 7th house and Libra is very fickle, very like airy, so it's not very like committed, like it's and then we in Scorpio is like fixed, so that's where you see deep commitments, you know. So then we go to there, and you know, this is where we see, you know, either death and rebirth. This is psychology as well, so we see all like the issues with a couple come up. So we'll see like this person's, you know, childhood wounding affects this person, and then all this psychological stuff comes up, and then there's death, rebirth, transformation. Or in business, this can be like, where has a business venture gone wrong? Like, where has, you know, you've been at a loss, but then you've come out, you've risen from the ashes, and you've come up with a new idea, and it was successful because that business idea maybe needed to die. Like, maybe that business idea got you to this point, like a stepping stone, but then you need to go to another direction now, you know. So so Scorpio is also like other people's money, inheritance and things like that. So
it's ruled by Pluto, isn't it? And Pluto is like massive, like destruction and transformation, isn't it? So
and then we go to Sagittarius, which is that like my beliefs, you know, like what I believe. And it's like, I'm going to take my ideas and stuff like overseas. I'm going to travel, you know, like I'm going to fire my arrow out into the distance. And, you know, and it's also like spiritual growth. It's all represents the guru and religion and stuff like that. So it's like, when you've gone through all those things, it's like, you know, as you get older, you want that there's something more to life than just the physical realm. Like, you want that connection to something higher to yourself. So then that's Sagittarius. And then then we go to Capricorn, and then Capricorn is like, in our structures, it's like the patriarchy, it's like the police, it's the rules, it's the law, it's the government, it's our businesses, it's this is where we kind of start to build our empire. So after we've been out in the world, it's like where we've started to really accumulate our wealth and, you know, what we've built for ourselves. And then we kind of get to the next point, which is Aquarius, where it's just like, oh my God, I've accomplished all this stuff. And Aquarius is just like the scientist. It's like analyzing everything. How did it all work? What are all the structures? You know, kind of detaching from the human pettiness of emotions of things, and really being able to analyze things and what's the most important, humanity coming together. It's really that, it's like enlightenment. It's like really kind of having it all, and then having that enlightenment moment where it's just like, what really matters? Just me being me, not all these things that I've accumulated and stuff like that.
Could Aquarius also represent like kind of looking into the future and trying to see kind of where you want to be taking it in the future? Because I know it's quite a like inventive and a futuristic type sign as well. So could that also be starting to think of ideas of where we're going with this again, and that kind of thing, looking into the future?
So we definitely see that, like, especially I think that's why it's a big thing with the humanitarian thing. It's like, how can we move humanity forward and not be in this low vibrational state? Like, and yes, it can be like, I'll think for the future for my business. How can I be more innovative and think of what's going to be, you know, more ecologically friendly and things like that? Like, you know, how can I make my business more futuristic? Definitely. And this is why we also see, like, you know, like Aquarius people can be very weird, very
careful
individuals, you know. Yeah, like they go to the beat of their own drum. They don't care what anyone else thinks. Like, they look at Leo, which is the opposition, which is the polarity, which is like, you care so much about what everyone thinks. Like, you're so up yourself. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to wear the latest trends. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. Like, you know, that's when we have Aquarius. And then, then we move into Pisces, which is, the cosmic womb, which is the ether. Like, it's a water sign, but I wouldn't say it's a water sign. It's kind of like, the universe. And it's like where we come for things to dissipate. It's like where we go for things to end. It's like karma. It's the soul realm. There's so many names for Pisces, but it's really just that end of that cycle, the end of that life experience, or the end of that karma, the end. And then we then move back into Aries. But we see this all year round. Like, we all go through these cycles all year round.
And the cycles, literally, they even happen every day. Like you say, if you look at the Zodiac as a 24-hour clock, the first 2 hours are Aries, which is like people wake up, they've got energy. Then you've got 8 till 10, which is Taurus, which is like, right, let's have some breakfast. And then you've got like 10 till, and your whole day, all energies move through the Zodiac sign. And so ideas do, years do, days do. And so it's really cool to learn so much about all that, what you've just explained, so that people can use, like, they know what hour of the day now is good for, you know, like kind of like reassessing ideas, or like there's loads of different ways you can use that information now to help you out. And I just wanted to mention as well, with Pisces, that's almost like a dream-like state, and like you connecting to the subconscious, and is it almost like a place where the ideas start incubating again, ready for Aries to start like kind of planting those ideas and choosing what you want, kind of thing?
Yeah, it's really connecting to the soul intention. Really, like, letting go of what's not of service anymore, letting go of old karmic cycles. It's really having freedom from what was, so you can just be that divine spark. Because I feel like as we go through life, like, you know, when you see a newborn baby or a little kid, their energy is just great. They're not damaged from society. They haven't been conditioned. They haven't, you know, all these things. And that's like kind of what happens in that Pisces season. It's like you kind of just throw off all that baggage, it all just kind of dissolves, so then you can just start again. And then, you know, and then really connect to your creativity, because when you are so conditioned and controlled and what would you say, carrying so much karma and stuff like that and baggage, you don't connect to your creativity, because you're not in a childlike state. You're not free. You're constantly thinking about concerns and burdens and blah, 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 blah. And you feel like you can't be yourself you don't even know who you are or what you really want or what makes you happy, because society's told you what's acceptable. So I feel like in Pisces season, especially after we've gone through Aries season, in Pisces season is where it all kind of falls off, and you know, we can really create, because Venus loves being in Pisces, you know. So it's really, you know, a time, like especially with this season, we've really been able to connect with our creativity, because we're letting go of so much and what we want to create.
So as well then, guys, if you're like, when we were talking about Aries being like a real month for the self then, or you know, a season to just kind of like really just focus on yourself and it be a little bit selfish, just to be aware of how the whole zodiac goes. It's all balanced. Every single part is needed, because it all does a job in this whole cycle. So this Aries moment, if you are feeling like, you know, it's feeling awkward to really put yourself first and all that, like, you just need to do it, because every you have the time of every other aspect that'll kind of like balance it all out anyway. And so yeah, it just literally go for it. And how would someone, say if someone's like just not sure whether they need to be cutting that person out of their lives, and you know, you're saying about letting things go and even letting family members go sometimes with everything that's going on, like whatever you think about, say the injections coming out and things like that, there's a lot of people who have, their families have been torn in two, with some people going one way with things, some people going another way with things, and having to just allow people you love to be in a different lane to you and accept that and let that go. Like, how do you know when something's not good for your life and you do need to cut those ties, like in your perspective, so people can have help with making a decision on things?
I've personally had to myself not speak to my family for a couple of years, so I know how hard that is. But I always knew in the back of my mind it wouldn't stay like that. And that I needed to stick to what I thought and what I feel and what's right for me. And I just think if something, to say if it's for the vaccinations or something like that, if you feel like it's not right for you and it doesn't resonate with you, you can't convince anyone else. That's their life, that's their karma. You can give them information, you can do what you can, but you have to let them go. And especially if they're being abusive, especially if, you know, like, just say if it's a friend, and you would have noticed over the last year if a friend just isn't coming with you for the next part of the journey. Like, all of us lost so many friends and connections over 2020, so we should know by now what isn't meant to be. And I feel like if things didn't work in 2020, then we need to let them go. Like, even if they come back, like even if they came back on the Pisces new moon that we just had, like even if they came back and we forgave them and it was so beautiful and we reconnected to them, we still just have to focus on ourselves. Like, even if you still want them on your like on your road or on your journey, you have to just stick to your own lane. And if you see them further down the track, great, but your focus cannot be on other people. Your focus needs to be on yourself. I can't sit there and determine what people should do with their families or things like that, but I know how hard it is to make those decisions. And I can tell you myself that even though I didn't speak to my family for a couple of years, it was the best thing I ever did. Because I learned to love myself and to value myself and not live by their belief system, not be the black sheep of the family anymore. Or, you know, like, I found that confidence within myself, and I didn't need any of their validation. I didn't need nothing, but I knew in my heart, I knew that things will come back together, and I have a better relationship with them than I've ever had in my whole entire life. Like, I'm more respected, loved, valued. No one, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes having to cut family off can be the best decision you ever make, and also to accept them for who they are. Like, my parents are fairly narcissistic, so it's just like you have to accept your parents for who they are, and they raise you to the best of their ability, or your family member, your sister or your brother, whatever it is. You have to understand that that's them, that's not you. Like, you have no control over that. All you can do, especially at this time, is focus on yourself. But yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing all that, because literally, like, it's so true. And I think that there's a real important thing in knowing that you can love someone but from afar, and it's all about just kind of protecting your own energy. Like, you can sometimes be in a relationship, you don't realize it, but the words that they say, or even the energy behind the way they say things, it really can be taking your energy or giving you bad energy. And and it's hard if you live with them, like, understandable. And it's hard if you go in like the kitchen and every day they've got a snide remark to say, because a lot of people nowadays are being called like conspiracy theorists and things like that, because people don't understand, or they haven't looked into the reality of what you would say a conspiracy theorist has looked into. So it can be really hard, but just like accepting them for the way they are will really help you learn how to accept yourself for the way you are as well, I think. And it works the other way around as well. Once you accept yourself, it's okay to then accept them for having a different view, or things like that. But I think that's a really good point. And yeah, 2020 should have been the year that really brought up to the surface a lot of stuff that isn't working, and so it should hopefully have helped people understand and see clear as day what is and isn't like working, and what is and isn't good for them. It really did that divide, which made you kind of really see then who stands where.
I know, huh? I was even saying, like, to some friends, like, dating is so easy now. Like, if someone wears a mask, then it's not going to work.
Like, no mask
wearer, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. That's hilarious. And it's so true. Like, it's amazing, really, because there's always the like two sides. There's the kind of the good and the bad, and there's like even just kind of like the way that things happen. It can seem like it's all destructive. It can seem like it's negative. It can seem like it's bad, or the cabals try to create a big virus and try to control and cause all this fear, and they have. But then at the same time, looking at all the awakening that they've triggered, and all the research people are doing now, and just being able to, they've done us so many favors from what they've been trying to do. It's hilarious. And at the end of the day, it is all the plan of the creator. It's his plan, and everything is going to plan, because it's already like the good's already won. It's already been decided that the 5Ds come in, the light workers have sorted everything out and stuff. So it's really just kind of focus on yourself, and don't get too distracted in what's going on. Don't let it ruin your energy. And just have hope and faith for future, because it's looking good, baby.
Yeah, I agree completely. But I also do suggest that, because there's that action happening in Aquarius, we can become too detached, and we need to take part in things. The North Node is in Gemini, which means we need to connect to groups and communities of people. Like, we need to be getting out there and doing peaceful protests for freedom. We can't just sit there and think, oh yeah, it's already well and it's all good. Like, no, like, the North Node is in Gemini for a reason. We need to be connecting and making these new groups. It's something that's very important, paving the way for the future, like. So yeah, that's something that I really wanted to add, is not get too detached, and really like keep that scientist down, grounded.
Okay, perfect.
And that nothing is the same. Like, even if we're talking about like you've lost friendships or things like that, nothing stays the same. Everything changes. And I think it's just a matter of thinking positive and believing and having faith that, those you love will be on the journey with you. Like, I feel like I'm really blessed, because my mom and my auntie are like all like into the same things I am. Like, we go to the protests, and, like they're all on board with what's going on and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm really blessed. Like, I'm lucky that my family are quite aware. But yeah, I do feel really bad for the like people that are alone in their family, and yeah, they kind of have their beliefs and the family are against them. That's really difficult. But
Yeah.
I feel like people that are like that, I feel like they've been on the spiritual journey for a while anyway, and they're used to being the black sheep. They're used to being the outcast. They're used to being the weird one. So I feel like, you know, they'll get through it, you know.
And sometimes I've found that when I feel most isolated and when I feel like most people are against me or attacking me, that is the best place for me to be, to try and learn and love myself a little bit more and accept myself a little bit more. Like you once said to me in a reading about my chart, like, you need to be your own biggest fan, your own best mate. Like, you need to just like literally be your best supporter. And it's only when I feel like everyone else is like being negative to me or against me that I can really be like, you know what, well, I'm gonna love me anyway. And it gives you that spark to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, it's interesting then, like, when you sometimes do, because you're talking about Aries, then with taking it back to us being in Aries season and having these conversations, and they could get a bit fiery, but it's all about kind of like these next few weeks, I think, was about having conversations with people and, you know, speaking our truths and stuff. Sometimes it's just one conversation that does end up waking up like your family members, and even though, you know, it might get heated, they don't want to, like, you know, they argue back, and things like that. You just never know. They plant these seeds, and it all helps towards helping people like really see the realities of what's going on. So like you were saying before, it's not about avoiding these conversations or avoiding speaking your truth because you don't want to cause the trouble. The trouble might just be what it takes for someone to kind of like engage more and like crack open that little nut so that they can expand their well, I'm saying it's like their brain's a little nut. I wasn't meaning like they had a little nut brain or something, but you know, open their mind a little bit more.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Like, I'm not somebody, like, there's a lot of astrologers, like, just say there's going to be a hard aspect coming and people will be like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, don't say anything, just wait till the Mercury retrograde is over. No. To me, no. Like, if something comes up, you say it. Like, that's why we have retrograde, so we reflect, so we throw off what doesn't work. Like, you know, like, I feel like if you need to say something, if you need to cry or express something, I'm very big on just doing like what you feel. So yeah, definitely say what you feel, say what you need to say. It's the perfect time to say, I don't know if things are going to be, you know, all rosy and beautiful, probably not, but there is a huge potential to be able to work things out and have an understanding completely. And you'll be surprised how a lot of people just don't even know any information. Like, some of my best friends, like, I was talking to them about what's going on with the RNA in the vaccine, and they didn't even know. Like, they had no idea. And they were going to get the vaccine straight away and be part of the trial. And I sent them information. It's just because they just don't look into those types of things. They are very more trusting of society, where me, I'm probably not. And so I've just sent them all this information, and straight away they were just like, oh, thanks, Alesha. I'm not going to get it straight away. I'm going to wait. Like, even though I think they should get it at all, but at least there's that, you know, like, oh, there's extra information. It's not just that one information avenue to get information from, you know?
Yeah. And as well, with you saying like just not caring about what people think, if we're the opposite of Libra right now, it's not thinking about other people, it's thinking about like kind of focusing on you. But you know, sometimes I'll have times where I want to tell certain people something, like certain family members, but I know that they'll either ignore me or it'll like cause a bit of a stir, because I know that they don't enjoy me sending that kind of stuff. But it's not, I'm not doing it like. So the thing is, just send it anyway, because like you say, they might just not know, and you can't preempt that they're going to be angry or I'm scared what they think. Will they hate me now if I send it? Maybe they actually really needed to know that information. And so it's again, like not running away from things, not being scared of what other people are going to think about you saying that thing. But again, just going, I'm standing in my truth. This is where my soul is, and I want to help and teach people. So just, you know, sharing and saying what you need to say.
Yeah, especially this month ahead. Like, just in a conscious way, do not be absolutely conscious and just be like, I just don't give a shit about anyone, I'm going to do what I want. No.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like, you just do what you want in a conscious way and not worry about what anyone else is doing, what anyone else is thinking, just for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And connect to what you need, what your heart is saying, what your head is saying, what your spirit is saying. Like, for 1 month, take this time out just for you. Focus on what you need, like what you need to move into this new world that we're stepping into, let's say.
And then a last thing, if you could summarize then this season in like 3 main like words or 3 main points, how this month's gonna go, or like, you know, what the energy that we're working with in this month, it'd be kind of like, you tell me.
Okay, I would say fiery, initiating, and moving forward.
Cool.
Yeah, fiery, initiating, moving forward. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, well, I feel like that's a good place to end on.
No, because I want to do a card.
Of course. Okay, let's do a card then. So we're going to choose, how many cards are you going to do? You're just going to see what comes through. And this is a card for the month, is it?
Yes, this is a card for the month.
Now, for Aries season.
So I'm going to pick a card or get a card for Aries season. But funny enough, I was doing some like cards, like getting some cards for before the video of how the video was going to go. And I got the same card 3 times. So I'm also going to read that out as well, because I just feel like maybe that's supposed to be in the message, but I'm going to get a card. Now I'm using the Sacred Rebels deck. I really love it. It's like my Aquarius deck. It's like, if I want to know, like, you know, something a bit out there and rebellious, I get this deck.
Cool.
Oh, collaborative dreaming.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So this is about connecting to people that are like-minded, like getting into new groups, starting new groups, communicating, learning, like really just like what me and you are doing now, like, you know, whatever, how can you create with other people? So, and especially because the ruler of Aries is at the North Node in Gemini, it's really about like communicating, collaboration, connecting, like, yeah, it's a very forward moving energy with this stuff. So if you really want to probably be able, a great way to navigate this month is to really, you know, connect with others that are like-minded, work with whatever your passions are. How can you make your passion work with somebody else? You know, like, you know, so stuff like that. And the card that I kept getting was release alliances. Now I actually want to read what it says about this. Now it says, it's a time to hold on to yourself and let go of another, even if it's just for a time. You have gained all that was meant from that connection, at least for now. You have given and you have received. The need to let go does not deny the value that has acquired. It's more time for a greater productivity, creativity, and abundance of consciousness in your life. You have completed many cycles in the vibrational frequency of consciousness that you have now been asked to release. You have been you have earned the right to step out of that frequency, out of old habits, out of relationships, and out of possibilities of limited beliefs. It's now time to expand into higher frequencies of experiences that will bring enhanced love, empowerment, and peace into your life. You will take the wisdom of what you've learned with you into something new, a new connection, new relationships, and new life experiences at a higher turn of the spiral of life. But first, you must trust the solitude of time being by yourself without being consumed by others. So I think that's really important.
That's literally just like the whole area. It's what we've all been talking about, isn't it? Everything.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I have to mention this.
Yeah.
So yes, just release your alliances to other people. Like, for this month, even if it's just like, oh, I can't do that, you know, like, you know, I'm just not that type of person. Well, for a month, you can do it. You know, like even do something on Facebook every day, how you're focusing on yourself and what you need, you know, like make it a challenge, 30-day Aries challenge.
Start a new thing. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, like literally, I can't believe that card come out 3 times and then it's everything that it summarizes it up perfectly, basically. I've got a few different decks, but I'm feeling this book. It's an angel guidance book. It's daily guidance. But I just feel through. I pick a page and then it'll tell you. I'll just read the page out, and then there's a little kind of thought for today where it's like an affirmation, but it can be like an affirmation for the Aries season.
Mm-hmm.
So I just get in the zone, pick a page. So this is what's come for me.
Mm-hmm.
The page says, have patience with yourself. I don't know if it's backwards that or not.
So I think that's great.
Okay.
We're going to need patience during this Aries season.
And what I'll read it in a sec, but what it just kind of makes me think as well is when we do this self-reflecting and we're like looking at ourselves and, you know, we're putting ourselves first and learning how to love ourselves and stuff. One of the biggest things I've been trying to learn, and I still struggle, but I'm trying, is like just having patience with my journey and just being okay with where I'm at, because I on the spiritual journey, we always strive to be better, and every single day we want to just grow and overcome our traumas and rewire our brain and stop behaving in the ways that we have and stuff. And it's almost about like to learn real self-love is about real self-acceptance in the moment, and just like seeing the perfection within you at your stage of the journey, even if it's not actually perfect yet. And so for me, having patience with myself, it's just like being a bit more compassionate with myself, and like just understanding with like, you know, you're okay being where you are, and just have patience with maybe it being a slow process. Don't be hating yourself because you know, you're still not where you want to be. But I'll just read this. So it says, you're making progress along your chosen path. Everything that's brought you to this point has been a learning experience. You have hard-won knowledge and wisdom that will help you with all your future endeavors. It's important to have patience with yourself. You may not be able to see how far you've come until you can look back on this moment from some point in the future. You've made monumental strides and gained a great deal of practical wisdom, and all this learning took time. Today, have patience with yourself and your progress. Know that whenever you've worked, played, loved, and rested, there was a reason you did so. All of those experiences have accumulated in the wonderful person you are today. So enjoy yourself, beloved one, and relax. And then the thought for today, or the thought for Aries season, is, I am patient with myself. I feel good about all the progress I've made and how far I've come. I let go of the urge to compare myself to others, knowing that everyone has their own unique path. I have patience with life.
That's beautiful. That's great. I love that.
So I might write the little thought for the day in the information at the bottom, and then if anyone wants to actually use that as an affirmation for the month or whatever, then you can take note of that and do that. But yeah, for me, actually, it could just be like really me on my journey as well. But it's definitely a time, like you were saying, you know, going back to that kind of baby like self and just going, you know what, giving yourself that time and being okay with it, and knowing that it's what you need. All those times that you did play or you did enjoy, it's because you needed it, and you are where you are today because of the accumulation of everything, the times that you gave to yourself and the times you gave to others, and it's all a big balance. So I suppose just being okay with where you are.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I knew you had a message to give, and that was perfect, because I think having patience at this during this Aries season is something that we're all going to have to sit with. Definitely, 100%. And that was such a beautiful message as well. You know, like going through everything we've accumulated and learned, and now it's just time to just not worry about anybody else and just focus on ourselves and have patience with ourselves and things like that. I think it was great. I am so glad you did that.
Well, thanks. It was your idea. So you can just pat yourself on the back. Give yourself that me praise. Okay, awesome. Well, Alesha, it's been so nice to connect again, and we're going to be trying to do this every month so that we can, really just help people know best how to use the energies of the month. And yeah, it's important to know these things, because it's almost like just giving yourself a little bit of a heads up when you know how to use energy and how to like kind of manipulate it to make everything go as well as possible. It's like doing magic, isn't it?
Definitely.
So yeah, it's putting the magic back in our own lives. And with that and my wand that I've got next to my next thing, I'm going to cast this Zoom call to be finished. And also send everyone just so much love for Aries season, and also just say happy birthday to all my little Aries babies who are watching as well. And so
we'll see you next month.
See you next month, guys.
Enjoy Aries season.
Yeah. All right, and we shall see you soon. Thanks so much for joining and stuff, and yeah, have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye.